Good day. So today I've got a gun not unlike the last video I posted on a lever gun here. This one is the Rossi M92 Ranch Hand or Mare's Leg, whatever you prefer, chambered in a 44 Magnum. Now they come in lots of chambers, 357, 45, things like that. So I just thought I'd go through how to strip it down from the pretty much the barrel back. Alrighty, so like most of these guns, you want to start out with taking your pin out of there and taking your furniture off. And that's going to expose your mainspring and your main rod there. So first steps first is you want to pin that back. So as you cock the gun, you'll notice that there is a little hole right there. I like to take just a small finishing nail or something, put it in there, and just take the tension off that whole deal. So the next step here, we'll be taking this screw out that holds your lower tang and your hammer into place. So it's quite tight. So what I kind of like to do is fiddle with both the hammer and the trigger a little bit to just loosen it up there. Get some of the tension off of it. You'll kind of have to play with it a little bit just to get it moving fluidly. I know I seem to have a problem with it every time I do it, so. Alright, she seems to be coming loose there. And just out like that. Not this time, apparently. So then from there you can slide your lower tang right out, and with it your hammer's going to pop out. So if you pull the trigger, it makes it a lot easier. Get them to pop out, then your hammer will come right out the bottom there. So your next step here is removing the lever from the bolt. So kind of like the 30-30 Winchester, close her up, and this screw here is an access cap to your pin. So you can open that up and you'll see that the pin does kind of expose itself through there. And you flip it over to the side where your loading gate is, and there is an access hole there. So I notice on these guns, or at least mine, that pin is really, really tight. So I kind of just give her a tap out with a punch there, and she should pop right out. There you go. Take the tension off with your lever, and there's your punch. Now you'll see one end of it is chamfered and one is not so much, and so you always want to put that end in first. Alright. So from there, you can remove your bolt or your lever right out the bottom. That will come out in 3 pieces, so keep those together. And then your bolt. And so with your bolt, if you're not careful like I wasn't right there, your extractor will come out. And so your extractor goes back together with the extractor, the spring, and then the washer type of deal on the back end there. So that's pretty much your gun disassembled right there. Alrighty, so for the reassembly, we'll start with the bolt here. And so with that extractor, you can just put it right back in there. And it will catch, I don't know if you can see that, right there on the spring. And so to get that back in to your bolt tight, or to your gun tight, you want to take an empty casing and just get it in there and push that extractor all the way down. Might take you a couple tries, but if you just hold it down with your thumb there, sorry about that. So just hold her down with your thumb there and push her in tight, and then you should be able to slide it right back into the back of the rifle and into the chamber, and that should hold everything together nice and tight for you. So back to your lever here. You can take those apart and toss them aside for now. And the next step will be putting your lever back into your bolt. So you can kind of take a peek in there and see the slot it goes into. And then it's all up to watching this access hole to see where your holes line up. And so right about there, you can drop your pin back in. And like I said, I know mine takes a good few hits with a mallet to get in there. And then you can just drive it the rest of the way in with the punch. Like so. And you want to make sure it sits flush on the inside, but that you don't mar the threading on the inside of that. And so as a rule of thumb, always put your whatever holds your pin in right away, because then you won't lose your pin. Alright, now attaching those arms back to the lever there. You can pull your lever all the way out or leave it in, doesn't really matter. But you're going to want to take this pin here off via this set screw. I got it on there pretty tight, so take that set screw out. Kind of going to be a pain for me. Take it right out, and then that pin should just push out right through the top. And so you can feed those. I'll turn it this way. So you can feed those back in your rifle. And I just always try to make sure that part, that kind of L-shaped part, always points towards the back, and then you won't forget. So that one through there. That one into there. And then when you pull your lever back, you'll see you can get the holes to line right back up there. Pull it back here, and then you can drop your pin right back in. And just kind of situate it so it's facing the right way for your set screw, and then put your set screw back in. Just like that. Alright, and at this point you still do have that empty casing in the chamber, so just eject that guy right there, and you're ready for your lower tang and your hammer. So hammer goes in first. Just kind of put it in where it would sit, slide it all the way up. Now your lower tang. Now you want to make sure this and this can join. So you can get your front started and then just guide the rest of it back there. Sometimes easier if you pull the trigger. Just take some tension off of things. And it's kind of a pain to get them lined up sometimes. You get that happening. Be easier if you had 3 hands some days, but you can slide that right in, and right about there my holes are lined up. So you take your screw and put it back in, and again you'll have to fiddle with it a bit just to make sure everything sits in there smoothly, and then so getting this screw back in there isn't a nightmare for you, and you don't mar anything up because you have to push too hard or anything like that. Oh, just like I did there. So that's exactly what you don't want to do. Good thing it's my gun. Alright, so once that's completely tight, you can just cock her back and pop that screw out. Close her up. And then you just put your hardware back on, your furniture back on. Just like that. And bang, there's your gun. So one thing I will say when I bought this rifle, pretty pricey when they first came out, but the sights on, I don't know if it was all of them or just this one, were absolute garbage. And no matter what, it shot low. So I did have to get a different sight here. It's kind of like a buckhorn sight with a little lifter in the bottom just to get her fine-tuned. And so far I've only bore sighted it as I got it just the other day. And hopefully it shoots straight now, because you know, this gun's only really good for maybe 30 yards at best, and when you can't aim, it's probably not good for much except the noise. Anyway, I hope that helped you out. Thanks.